Hey, welcome back, everybody, to After the Checkers. We have a super cool, it's episode number 99, and it's for the Iron Man, Shane Sabraski. Everyone's going to recognize this guy. And I thought, Mammy, it was appropriate to celebrate the 800th win. And in the time between when we said, hey, let's celebrate the 800th win, we're already at number 811. And so the wins are coming fast and furious for the 7A. So welcome back to the show, Shane. How are you?
Thanks. Good, Kyle. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Congratulations on 800 and 801 and 2 and all the way up to 811, I guess. We had chatted just sort of tongue in cheek, but it would have been really cool if it had worked out. That I said, man, it'd be really kick ass if you just held off and got 800 at Granite City so that I could be the announcer that gets to say this is number 800. And
Right.
and you had a really, really great answer to that. That Kyle, I got to tell you, if I'm at a different track and I'm coming out of 4, I'm probably not going to hit the brakes, which is good. So it's the most obvious question, and this is the question that I've asked it before, and you always have the same exact answer: is does it ever get old? Your 811 feature wins in. Is it? Do you ever think I can let this guy by and it's not gonna hurt too much?
No, I still really enjoy winning
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's. I wonder, like you're like Dick Trickle is the winningest stock car driver, to my knowledge anyway, winningest stock car driver ever. And it would be fun to be able to ask him the same kind of thing, as if 35, 40 years into his career, like, do you ever think, oh, that guy right in front of me, I know this is going to be his first win, I'm just going to let him have it? Or is it like, nope, like I'm going around him on the high side like he's tied to a post kind of a thing?
Yeah, I don't I'm trying to think if I've ever run into them situations. I don't know if I have where I thought about it. Like it just it's one of those deals where you're out there racing and you're just giving it all you got,
There's
and
one goal. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of times you'd like to think, yeah, you could let that guy go for his first win, but is is that guy going to hang on to second? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'd have let him win, what if he might ended up third anyways or
Right.
something?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so, and I honestly think most drivers, especially if it's you, Shane, if I outdrive Shane Sabraski and I beat him to the line, that's a feather in a lot of drivers' hats,
Oh,
simply because I beat the 7A. And whether it's honestly whether it's for the win or whether it's for third or whatever it is kind of thing, people want to beat you, and they want to beat you pretty badly.
yeah,
And when they do, you freaking beat someone at that point. And so I would think most drivers, any driver worth their salt that's going to be ahead of you in late stages of a race, they would rather race Shane at 100% and get second than have Shane lay over and give you 75% and let me win. Like, no one wants to get their first win on charity kind of thing. You know what I mean?
right,
So,
right.
okay. So, 811 wins. This is how it breaks down. And full credit to Katie Sabraski, your lovely bride of 20 some years. This is how it breaks down. Do you know the breakdown?
No, but I know that you just said 20 some years with her makes me feel old. But go ahead.
Well, I hate to tell you, buddy, you kind of are. And so,
Yeah, I know.
so to be honest with you, before we get into that, as preparation for this, I thought about the first time you and I met. You had to have been 14 or something like that, racing snowmobiles, and I was the flag man initially, and then the announcer in the last couple years that you were racing, and you and I raced together in the
Right.
buddy race on the, like, I started, you finished kind of a race, and it was a lot of fun. You were a daredevil back then, and won just about everything you touched, even as a little kid. So I distinctly remember you were an Arctic Cat guy all the time, and there was a at the track where I was the announcer, there was this huge tabletop Like you jumped 80, 90 feet in the air. Everybody did. And you landed one time and maybe hadn't wicked up the track speed and the ground speed didn't match. And you ripped a track right apart. And
I remember that.
yeah, it was crazy. Like you didn't crash or nothing, but you like hit the gas and there was just no track to drive you kind of a thing. It was pretty
riding
crazy.
on the bogey wheels.
Yeah, you were just on the wheels is all. But
Yeah.
but okay, so here's how it breaks down. You are the most dominant, believe it or not, in a B mod. Like the most wins are and you're 6 short of 300 wins, 294 wins in a B mod. And I would attest to that. Back in the days where I was announcing at North Central Speedway, you were up there all the time and you won. Like that's just what you did. Like there was nobody going to beat you in a B mod kind of thing. And so at some point you came into the super world, which is maybe 07, 08, somewhere in there is that about when you started in the supers?
I feel like maybe cheaper. I feel like more like 10 maybe.
Okay. More recent to now.
Yeah.
Okay. So supers, you have the second most win total of your 3 classes, 272. And so that'll maybe be the next milestone for us to start looking at is 300 wins in a super.
Who's got the most?
What's that?
Who's got the most in the super?
That I don't know. That's we got to talk to the boss, Ben Crookton, and he would be able to tell us for sure. Ben has all of the numbers.
Kind of cool.
He's a little stingy about sharing those numbers, but he knows them numbers. And
okay.
So we could maybe find that out and put that. I'll try to find that out and have it in the comments or in the description of the show. So yeah, 272. And so you're whatever that is, 28 away from 300 in the supers alone. And then in the modified, you're 245. And this is as of today. Like this is you have 811 wins in those 3 classes, which it brings me back as the announcer, I guess, because this is not like the only 3 classes that you've ever raced. You've raced other classes. Like you certainly didn't start in a B mod. You started in a short tracker.
Yeah.
And you won a fair amount there.
Yeah.
There just is no recorded history of it, right?
Right.
And so this whole 800 win thing might be 850 already, based on all of the feature wins in a car. There just was nobody. You didn't have a lovely wife at that time to record it all. You had a girlfriend because you and Katie had been together since you were like children.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Because that little kid that was 14, 15 years old, I remember Katie being there at that point.
So I think she was 16 and I would have been 18 then.
Well, you seemed really a lot younger than that's probably true. That's probably true. So, but yeah, you were just children.
Yeah.
Together already. So that's the 811, 294 in the B mod, 272 in the super, and 245 in the modified, and obviously not in the B mod too much, 2, 3, 4 times a year at special races where you jump in someone else's B mod and go try to play Superman and collect all the money. And actually with not Shane Sobraski like success in the B mod recently.
Yeah. At just like this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of struggled this year in the B mod.
Yeah. People will love to hear that. But the super stock this year, especially Shane, like I should know the number this year in the super stock, but it's damn near 30 wins already 29. In the super.
29.
20. Yeah. So like that's it's just is there a secret to it? Like, is there like, how does a guy go out there with the level of competition in the super stock class? Because it's like, there's legit, I mean, if we take the 7A out of it, there's 15 guys that can win any given night at any given track. and then you throw the 7A back in there, and the 7A wins by 6 seconds. And so without giving too many things away, like where does that come from? How are you able to do what you're doing?
I don't I don't know. I know me and James Trentino, we talked the other day too, and he asked me kind of the same question. What are you doing? But like I just honestly just have a good setup in there, and I've been working on, trying to make the right rear feel good to me in that car. And I don't know, everything just kind of came along with it. But then this year, I know one of the things, like they allowed us to run a lot better front brakes in that car this year. And so with that being said, I just always used to struggle with too much rear brake all the time because you couldn't use good front brakes.
Sure.
And so I feel like that helped us a lot this year. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know, just been working on, like when we built this car too, we put a lot of time into trying to make it the best we could,
Right.
because we used to get our ass handed to us by Dave Moss all the time. So
So that's a steel sharpens steel thing. I have a conversation. I work with one of your fellow super stock drivers, Austin Niemeyer.
yeah,
And Austin pretty well. And he and I were talking, you're a frequent subject here about how, he's going to go out and light you up and just drive past you. And then we all laugh, and because that's just not going to happen. But the subject was exactly that, of who does Shane fear, kind of a thing. And if everybody's at a track and the 7A hauler, the West Metro Buick GMC hauler with the 7A on the side of it goes in, everyone has a collective F. Like, damn it, this was my night. And so is there a driver that when you show up at the racetrack, is Dave, like when Dave shows up, are you like, gonna have to put the work boots on tonight? Or is it back in the day, it was Tim? Like, you're the only 3 guys I know of, Tim, Dave, and Shane. Like, there's just one name guys, and you know exactly who it is. And without disrespect to anybody, Tim, Shane, and Dave are the 3 best super stock drivers that have ever walked on the planet. And it's not disputable in my opinion. And so when those 2 guys are at the track, are you nervous?
I definitely used to be, but I feel like with this new car, we've been really good. So I don't know if I still get nervous, like just for big shows in general and stuff, but I don't know if like really one driver really psychs me out anymore.
Causes that nerves. It's more just the race itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even on any given night, like I honestly don't even like, I like watching races, but at the same time, I don't like watching them because I see how fast people are going, and it like kind of psychs me out. Like, I got to go out there and go that fast. How am I going to do that?
Yeah.
I don't, but I sort of get myself worked up by watching races. So I try not to sometimes.
I have had other people tell me that same exact thing. And for whatever reason, it's mostly sprint car drivers that have told me that like, I'm not watching that. Like, the last thing I need in my head is the realization that I'm 8 inches from a concrete wall,
right,
going 110 miles an hour. Like, I don't need that realization in my head. I just need to think I'm in total control.
Yeah.
It's funny that in the car you feel completely at ease, and like you can put that car anywhere. Off the track, you're like, am I going that fast? Like that?
Right.
This is scary now. And so it's I see it in the modifieds. Like, I think, Christ almighty, those guys are going fast. Like, that is crazy. And then when you all get linked up, and it's, either right around the bottom or right around the top is where everyone's running. And I always think of it from the announcer's point of view, that if third place screws up a little bit, there's 8 cars that can't react fast enough to not be in the accident, kind of a thing, because you're so close and you're so fast. It's that's how big accidents happen, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sure. So, okay, so let's go through some memories. 811 feature wins. It would be interesting to know how many starts, that is, like that. Katie maybe has that, I don't know, but if is that 2,000 starts, is it, that, like, how many times have you taken a green flag? We know 811 checkered flags, but it'd be interesting to know what the win percentage is. So, favorite memory of the 811 feature wins? Is there one that stands out a little bit above the others?
Jeepers. I still would have to say, like, my rookie year when I won Mod Nationals at Alexandria was super cool for me.
So the Mod Nationals in the B Mod or in the A Mod?
A Mod,
Yeah.
it was my rookie year in A Mod, and when Chris used to pay the $7,000 at Alexandria where it
Yep.
originally started. Yeah,
That would be the one.
I think so.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
MPS race at Ogilvy's right up there too. That was pretty fun too.
Yes. Okay, so there's that side of the coin. What's the other side of the coin? What's the one that hurts the most?
Uh, Definitely Mike Anderson beating me at Ogilvy for 10 grand to win by like 2/10 maybe, or a tenth.
Yeah.
I don't. It was super close.
Is
No,
that
it wasn't even tenths. It was hundredths.
yes? Is that
Yeah.
tenths you can see, hundreds are
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it looked like we were tied, but
Yeah.
I messed up on the last corner, and
I was there. I was there.
I was screaming my helmet.
I bet you, yeah, and nothing positive, I bet you.
No.
Because it looked like I'm gonna protect the inside at all costs, and you kind of got in, and the car kind of bounced a little bit and race
I
over.
hit the hole that I knew was there.
Yeah. Well, you got to step on it every now and then, I guess, to know it. I guess that's yeah. But so that's the toughest.
Yeah.
Is the second toughest the 1 point that Dan Ebert cost you at Ogilvy last year?
That was sort of a stinger, but at the same time, I had chances to gain it back, or I had chances to be more ahead, and it probably, not trying to sound, but
yeah,
if it would have been my first national championship, it probably would have stung a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yeah.
Is there still that couldn't have been, as a spectator, if you win that race, or if Dan wins that race, the race was spectacular to watch. Regardless of who won that race, if the two of you take each other out and third place wins, that would have been spectacular too. The fact that you two come off, and they're like, I have a picture of it, and I don't know who took the picture, if it was JC or Nick or one of the photographers has a picture, and you can literally see this little sliver of daylight between your car and his car, and then between his car and the outside wall there isn't 5 inches.
Right.
And the two of you never touched each other. That you raced clean, he raced clean. It was spectacular. Like is that, can you see the appreciation in the race even though you didn't win?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like where the two of you high five each other in the tech shed and go, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So okay,
I was at Dan's shop a few weeks ago. I had him checking a shock for me, and I seen he had the picture blown up on the wall. Probably that picture you're talking about.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
it was pretty sweet. Yep.
It is awesome picture. So okay, so who is the toughest? Pick your class of the 811. We just talked about Tim and Dave. Whether it be B-Mod way back when you were a regular B-Mod guy, or obviously now you're super and modified exclusively. Is there who's the toughest guy to line up against and know that you got to beat him?
Like way back then or no?
Doesn't matter. In throughout who of in the 800, let's say it's 2,000 starts, who has been the toughest guy?
Like way back when I was first starting in B mods, like Dale Matheson and Dick Peterson were both like untouchable in B mods back and when I was first starting out.
Yeah. So 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago this year, actually. I think 2002 is when you started.
Yeah, I'm thinking like probably around '04. I'm gonna say in that around that area. Those guys were very tough. '03, '04.
Yeah, that makes sense because those are two pretty damn big names from back then for sure. So
I mean, there's a lot of great guys out there, but it just seems like starting position is so important and your car being right and whatever.
yeah,
Nowadays, it's, you know, you can hold on to a win if you start up front kind of deal. But back then, it didn't seem like between those two, it didn't matter where they started, they won. So,
they won. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that are watching this right now going, yeah, Shane, doesn't matter where he starts, he wins. And so it's was that ever a goal back then? Did you have in your mind to be who you are now?
no,
No.
I just, I talked to Jeff about this the other day. Like, I just really, he said to me when we were at Wilmer, he's like, we were sitting on the tailgate watching racing, and he's like, "You love this shit, don't you?" And I said, "I do." And then we just got talking about it, and I said, like, I feel like I should be good at it because I use perspective of like drum players. Like, I get the chills watching a drum player play
Yeah.
drum. Like, I just think it's neat, but they dedicate like their whole life to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just feel like I have always put racing kind of first. Like, I probably should put my job first, but a lot of times I don't.
Exactly.
And so I feel like I have put a lot into racing and I should be good at it,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
as much as I
It,
go. And I've had very good sponsors through the years and stuff. So,
it would be pretty disappointing to put the effort and time and energy and money and be a fifth place guy, right?
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be a whole different show, wouldn't it? Um, so the question that I think a lot of people have, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask it, even though I'm 90% sure I know the answer, is when is the super get hung up and we start on getting 300 wins in a late model?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to say I would know that answer, but I don't know that answer. And I hope we do sometime before long, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My son sort of talked about wanting to race super, so I don't know if he maybe would someday, and then I would get a late model or something. I don't know for sure what
Sure.
we're gonna do. But
Yeah. That would be, or you can do what Tim and the one junior and the L1, the little one.
yeah,
Those two are going out racing head to head. They just this past Saturday in Brainerd, they started right next to each other, and neither one really gave anything to the other one. And I'm like, do you think Tim's just playing with his kid? And I'm like, I think Tim would spin his kid to win this race. Like, I think Tim just wins.
right.
He doesn't care. So it's do you look forward to that lining up against your kid?
Um, I don't know if I really ever want to race my kid, to be honest. Like, I'd love to see him succeed with it and whatever, but yeah, I don't know for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. Like, I know I like to I like to watch like Jimmy Mars and stuff with his kid. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
I think if it gets closer, Shane, and it becomes a reality, there's honestly nothing like it.
Right.
And if we go back to the beginning of this conversation, have you ever let someone win? You don't let them know that you're letting them win, but you
Right.
absolutely, like, you might just remind them that dad's right there coming out of four, kind of a thing, but you give it quarter throttle, not half throttle, coming out of four on the last lap
Yeah.
if the 7A junior is in front of him, kind of a thing. So awesome. Okay, so I started this deal a little bit ago. We'll go into the fun stuff here. This little game called First, Last, Best, Worst. And so you pick one category, and I'm gonna pick race cars, things that you've raced, because you've raced snowmobiles, short trackers. Like, there isn't a class I don't think that you haven't at least tried, right? And motorcycles,
No. Dirt bikes.
yeah, dirt bikes, yeah. So snowmobiles, dirt bikes, almost every class of cars. So everything that you've raced, what was the very first thing that you ever raced?
A kitty cat.
Kitty cat. So like as a little kid.
5. Yep.
Yep. Nice. Okay. What was the last thing that you raced? I'm guessing was a modified or a super stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. What was the best thing that you've ever raced?
The best thing I've ever raced. Like just the funnest I've had.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna say the modified. Like it just, and I think it would be the same for me. As you move up a class, it's just more rewarding. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yep.
I know the mods almost the top of the line for class, and it's tough. So I guess it's just a lot more rewarding for me to
Yeah.
win with, or not downgrading any other class. It's just the way I feel
If
it
you
is.
can win at the highest level, it's the
Right.
adrenaline is better. Yeah.
Because I mean, like my super, I do have fun in that car. It's very fun to drive, and the guys are all great and stuff. So it's like, I mean, I have fun in that car too. It just is probably more rewarding with the mod.
Yeah. And so do you 2 years from now when you're the rookie late model champion, national champion, do you think it goes to that then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So that was the best. What's the worst thing that you've ever raced? Like never doing that again.
I think my buddy DJ talked me into racing a Hornet or a Pure Stock or something at Granite City, and I kept spinning out. That would have to be the worst.
I would love to be the announcer for that. Like we got to make that happen again. Where
I think
Shane
it was a front wheel drive Hornet. Yeah, I
yeah,
couldn't drive.
couldn't drive it. Well, that's some people have talent, Shane, and others don't, and that's
Right.
just yeah. Okay, so track term. Every week or every episode, I have a track term. Like dirt racing, there's kind of their own vocabulary, right? And if you said things that dirt trackers say to each other in the real world, nobody would know what you talk about. And so the term for Shane Sabraski, who runs super stocks and modifieds, is deck height. What is deck height to somebody that's not from dirt track racing?
What is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have to describe it to somebody at the Olive Garden that's never been to a dirt track race.
It's the height of the back of your car.
Perfect. Where is that measured then? In the middle, off to the sides?
Middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm joking because it's like the most controversial damn thing in the deck height must be like I don't know, it's something bad. Nobody likes deck height at all, ever anymore. So at least not if you're this far over.
Yeah.
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 And so okay, so it is the height of the flat part of your body at the back of the car right in the middle. And so okay, rapid fire questions. We do this every single week as well. It is sponsored by Minnesota Trek headquarters. I encourage everybody, yourmth.com, go there, check it out, buy a car if you need a car. So these are your rapid fire questions. What is and these are a little deeper than the normal. There's a couple of them that are stupid. There's a dad joke coming up here, but what is the first thing that you think of when you hear the word competitor?
Who do I think?
Yeah, what when you hear the word competitor, what's the first thing that comes into your head? Is it a person? Is it the idea of competition?
I'm gonna say a person.
And who is that person? We need to know the name.
Dave Kane, just because Dave is he's a very tough competitor, and I know he feels himself off of like people talking negative of him or anything like that. Kind of funny because I've heard him say, "Oh, it's just gonna make me want to go faster." So,
and if you can turn that negativity coming at you into something positive inside of you, that's a win. And like it's the ultimate rebuttal to the guy that's hating on you is if he's the one giving you the fuel and feeding the fire, there's nothing better than that. And so that's awesome. So this is the dad joke. This one. So if you were Canadian, right? What month would July be? You know, like January is 1, February is 2. So July, what month would July be if you were Canadian?
What month would July be if I was a Canadian?
It's a dad joke, remember?
July.
No, in the numbers. You know, January is 1,
Oh,
February is 2.
um, 7, eh?
It'd be the 7A. Exactly. People are going, "Oh my god, that's stupid." And they're right. That's it. Exactly. Um so are you afraid of anything? This is question number 3. Are you afraid of anything?
Yeah.
Race car wise. Let's say race car wise.
Yeah, I would say I'm not a wide open or on the wall type of guy.
I would agree with that. You tend to be wherever the guy in front of you isn't guy though.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it. I'm not most comfortable there.
Yeah. Where so are you I suppose you're comfortable kind of everywhere, but the like you prefer not to be 6 inches from the wall.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I don't get along with Fergus Falls that great.
Because there's
Hmm.
a lot of wall running. Well, and Ogilvy can kind of get up there. There's every track can get up. Is that every track that has a wall?
It can. It just seems
Yeah,
like I-94, like the berm or the cushion is always like right at the
right
wall.
at the wall. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
and I don't know if it's that I'm scared or I just hate having to put my spoiler back on. I'm not sure.
yeah. That's someone told me the other day that that's a badge of honor. If you can take the spoiler off and not crinkle the quarter panel, that you know there's a 1 inch variance there. If you can take the spoiler off without crinkling the panel, that's like a trophy.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
would be.
exactly. It's an expensive trophy, but it's a trophy nonetheless. But um what is Shane Sabraski, 20-year veteran at the highest level? What is his advice for a brand spanking new driver?
Mm, seat time.
Yep.
Seat time. And yeah, learn to watch read the racetrack.
Is it do you if brand new race car driver walks over to the trailer and says, "Hey Shane, do you got a minute?" Do you are you honest with your if they ask you a question about this that how do I get better? How do I not get lapped on lap 10 of a 20 lap race? Do you help them out?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think more top level drivers should do that. And here's the reason why is because eventually the new guy that is frustrated beyond belief because he's getting lapped on lap 10 of a 20 lap race quits
Yep.
because it's not fun. And he's in the top five's way at some point during that race. And if everybody can be better, then everybody is better. And that it sounds simplistic, but I it's more fun to be competitive than it is to be in the way. And I think if more drivers like yourself or Dave Kane or uh Dave Mott like pick the biggest drivers in each class, if they walked over to the bottom 5 drivers in each class and said, "Hey, can I give you some advice on tire pressure or getting these bars set right because I followed you in practice and there ain't nothing right about the back of your car kind of thing. Can I help you?" I think we would have I think we would grow. Don't you agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so okay. So you kind of said this a little bit earlier and the last question is always a little deeper, little more thoughtful. What would you regret not doing if you don't do it before you hang up the helmet and hang up the shoes?
Yeah, racing a late model.
Late model? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've run them, just never like as a 7A on the door, I'm running a late model.
Yeah, basically just jumped in one a night and tried it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know really if I would like it. I just would like to
Give it a
try.
whirl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people have told me that it's easier to drive a late model than a modified.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
either,
just
but
because like I look at say Rodney Sanders, he doesn't seem to do real hot in the late model, or Jake O'Neill. Some of them good guys. Then like I know Buzzy ran a late model for a little bit. I guess I don't know his exact reason for going back to a mod, but he didn't seem as dominant in the late models he does
yeah.
a mod.
Well,
So
I think there's the level of competition at every level is harder and harder and harder, right? Like
right.
it's the reason college football players are the best college football player who ever lives, and then they get cut their second year in the NFL because you're not a great NFL player. You're a great college player. So
Yeah.
if you're the best super stock driver that's ever lived, maybe you're not a great late model driver. But man, do we want to know, Shane, if you're a great late model driver? Because I bet you are. You'll figure it out. Yeah,
It's probably definitely a whole new learning curve, I'm pretty sure.
I
But
bet you. I bet you. So, well, that's the yourmth.com rapid fire questions, the 5 questions that may or may not have to do with the racing from Shane Sabraski. So thank you for that. Last thing is the pay it forward question. And this question comes from a fellow legend by proxy. And what I mean by that is the guy who I just interviewed and in real time, I just did it last night. In Showtime, they're going to be a week apart, but a guy by the name of Clarence Washburn, number 3 late model driver. Clarence is 79 years old and has been racing since 1970, and it's now 2022. That is 52 years that he's been climbing through the window of a race car, and only raced in 2 classes. He raced in Sportsman, which was the class that wasn't the late model class in the 70s. There was only 2 classes. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, he climbed into a late model, and he's been in a late model literally ever since
wow.
like the late 70s or early 80s. And so runs full time. It's not like he runs once a year to keep the streak alive. He runs 3-4 nights a week, every week. And it's amazing. So his question for you, he knew exactly who you were. And his question for you was, do you still enjoy today as much as you did jumping in that short tracker 20 some years ago?
Yeah, I mean it's still super fun to me, but I guess the it was probably a little more exciting, I suppose, when I first started out, just because it was something so new to me.
Oh, new. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's a good question though. But yeah, I don't know. It was very fun back then, and I still look forward to going racing, so I
Yeah.
guess it's fun.
I asked Clarence a similar question. Is you're 52 years, you're going to be 80 years old. And like, is there plans? Like I'm going to hit 80. His birthday's in June. Like, are you quitting next June when you turn 80 and you race one time and say, hey, I raced until I'm 80? And he goes, what the hell would I do if I quit? Like that, I race cars. That's what I do. He goes, once you've done it long enough, it's what you do, right? Like you breathe, and you're not going to quit breathing. And I race, and I'm not going to quit racing. And so it was, and I can see you being that guy that's 20 years from now, we're talking about race win number 1500 or whatever it is at the time. And man, if I'm still doing the show 20 years from now, geez, Kyle, step up. But it's you're a race car driver and you race. That's what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. So awesome. So your question, we're actually skipping a show because episode 100, recorded episode 100, is my next show, and I am going to be my own guest.
Okay.
It's Kyle's time to say thank you to the previous 99 guests that have been on the show, and to the people that have made it possible for me to be here. So we're skipping a show. And so my next guest after me is going to be Cole Anderson, who is a guy that you probably know. Cole pretty well, is another modified driver, number 97. And I think Cole is from kind of southwest like La Center, Minnesota, down by Mankato, that area. But he's been coming up to central Minnesota, racing some classes up here with us. And he's going to be my guest. So what would your question to a fellow modified driver, Cole Anderson, be?
Um, is he I know the car and him, but I only have known of him this year.
Yes.
Is
Yep. Me too.
is he a rookie?
Boy, I would be stunned if he's a rookie because he's fast, like crazy fast. And so I would be stunned if he's a rookie. I don't think that he is, but he is a young guy. I mean, talking to him, he's late 20s, I would maybe guess. We'll find that all out on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a question to him.
How old are you?
Yeah. No, did he let's see. I'd like to know how he got into racing.
Okay.
And what was if he raced anything else. I'm kind of thinking that he raced asphalt before, maybe.
That could very well be.
So I guess
that'd be super fun questions.
Yeah, see I would like to know what he likes between if he did race asphalt.
Yeah.
What
Have you ever done that? Have you ever just tried that?
No.
Would you?
Yeah, I would like to.
For sure. Go down to Elko and jump in a car.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
It's a whole different, like, there's the handful of asphalt races that I've watched I've been to 3 different tracks that were asphalt, and there's people bitch and moan because a dirt track gets one lined around the tires. That's the line on asphalt. There is no go up to the top and like make up ground because the traction went away on the bottom. Like, it's everybody runs the bottom. That's the shortest way around, and there's ultimate traction. And so when you pass someone there, you hurt their feelings every single time. And so there's like, they're nice about it. They're professional, but you get up underneath them, get them a little loose, push them out of the way and pass, and then run because you know it's coming back at you.
Yeah.
But, well, Shane, I look forward to calling a whole bunch more of, up to, I hope I get super win number 300. I hope is at my track. And, and if not, then we'll applaud you and congratulate you on getting that wherever it is. So you're one of the good guys in racing. I am one of the guys that don't think you're the favorite guy. In fact, you're probably cheered for more to lose than to win at this point in your career because we've seen Shane win before, and if somebody beats Shane, that's a better story, right? And so keep letting that fuel you to win more and more and more because you're good for the sport, and I'm happy to be your friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. That's Shane Sabraski on After the Checkers with Kyle Hall. Thanks, everybody.